Welcome Earth Angels to this Aquarius season flow where we're going to be exploring a nice slow, airy, flowing practice which is going to be mainly based down on the mat. You may need a few blocks, that's completely up to you, and I will meet you lying down with the knees pointing up towards the sky in just a second. So bringing yourself down to the earth, it's your choice. Maybe the arms rest down by the sides, or you might bring one hand to heart, one to belly to kind of feel into the physicality of the breath today. So just take a moment to land, maybe feeling the ground underneath the feet. So Aquarius is an air sign, but of course we have to feel into our foundation. So we're going to be moving with air more so through the breath in the flowing element, but we want to stay rooted during this maybe slightly flighty and eccentric time. So maybe lifting the toes, letting them fall back to the earth. And let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And let it go, nice big breath out. Maybe for you today, if you're feeling a lot, if you've had a lot going on before this moment, you might want to take a few more of those cleansing breaths. Otherwise, maybe just feeling that soft inhale travel in through the nose and follow back out through the nose, our yogic breath. Perhaps you start to witness the rise and fall of the chest and the belly, rising in time with that inhale and softening with your exhale. So the reason that we're working with a mainly floor-based practice today is that Aquarius rules the calves. So we'll be focusing a little bit around the legs and kind of drawing into our own inner strength from within. And if you like to work with a mantra, a really good one for Aquarius is I know. So it could simply just be I know, or maybe you add something that's personal to you on the end. So just taking your time, feeling the body pressing into the earth, and we're going to slowly draw the feet a little bit further apart, so that there's some space to begin to windmill through the legs. So take your time to drop the knees, maybe starting over to the right, and in your own time, allowing them to rise and fall to the left. Now, as always, this is your practice today, so you're very welcome to follow along with me, but maybe there's a few extra postures that you want to add along the way. And Aquarius, being that rebellious spirit, maybe that does come in a little bit into our practice, so welcome it wherever feels aligned. So taking the knees side to side one more time, just gently waking through the hips. And then let's meet knees back up towards the ceiling. We're going to come into Uppanasana, so drawing the knees in towards the chest, giving them a little hold here. Maybe you even lift the head and the shoulders, creating this tight little ball shape. And then gently release back down. So let's tune into that air energy. Let's build slowly, maybe bringing the hands behind the thighs, crossing the ankles, as we start to slowly rock back and forth along the length of the spine until you feel ready to come all the way up to seated. So you could change your practice, you could catch yourself in a boat pose. Otherwise, we're going to roll over the legs and settle down for a moment into our child's pose. So resting for a moment here. Feeling the palms again into the earth. Maybe the head drops down towards the mat. You could use your block to rest the head on if you're not quite ready to come all the way down just yet. And feeling into the breath. So really allowing the breath to be our anchor, our home to return to for our practice today, so that the rest can just move with ease, say, from that intuitive space. Taking another moment here, maybe even rocking the forehead side to side if it is resting on a block or to the mat. And then feeling the connection through the hands, through the tops of the feet. Let's start to rise up towards a tabletop position. So realigning the knees, bringing the hands back in towards you. We're going to start to flow through cat-cow. Let's make this an intuitive cat-cow so that you move in a way that feels, again, aligned for you. So I always like to start with a little movement side to side, before coming back and forth. So perhaps you start to align your breath with the movement. So as you inhale, lifting the chest, looking forward. As you exhale, rounding through the spine, pressing away. Perhaps even beginning to notice the little pauses between each new inhale and each new exhale. As you move, just starting to notice how you're feeling today. So bringing in that awareness as we do with every practice. But also tapping into this inner space. So Aquarius is very independent, a little bit detached at times. Every placement has its upsides and its downsides. So if we're moving in tune with Aquarius season, maybe we really focus in on ourselves today. And maybe that detachment comes from kind of dropping away from the outside, the external noise, and bringing ourselves back to our bodies and our breath. Beautiful. So we're going to start to come into a gate pose. So we're going to begin by turning our left leg out to the side. Our left hand's going to stay to the mat. We're going to stretch our right leg out long towards the end of the mat, and then let's flow the right arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe give a little wiggle of the fingers, waving to the heavens, the skies here, feeling into the air around us. And then take your time to reach the arm up over the head, hugging the ear. So this might be enough for you. If you want to take it one step further, you can lift the leg away from the floor. Inhale to stretch away. Exhale, we're going to draw knee towards elbow. Inhale to find that reach. Exhale to call in. One more time. Inhale, reaching out. Finding length. Exhale, bring it back in. Beautiful. Come to land the foot back down to the mat. Bring the knee. Come through tabletop. We're going to flow through cobra. So let's gently round through the spine, melt the heart to the floor. And then a soft inhale, roll the shoulders, lift through the heart space, connecting down through the tops of the feet, shining the heart forward just as far as feels good for your practice. And then lower back to the earth. Beautiful. Take your time for a moment to drop back into your child's pose. Nice full round of your breath here, and then flowing back to tabletop. Let's take that to the opposite side. So turning the left leg out, extending through the left leg, reaching the arm up over the head once again. Beautiful, nice big stretch, maybe lifting the leg away from the floor. Inhale, reach out, exhale, draw in. So 2 more times your own pace. Inhale, we reach away. Exhale, we call in. I've lost count, but let's do one more. Reaching, and then bring it back. Lovely. Land the leg, bring your hand down, come back through tabletop. We're going to flow down through cobra once again. So gently lowering the body to the earth. Inhale as you roll the shoulders to rise. Exhale to lower down. Bring it back to your child's pose. Maybe drawing the knees as wide as the mat, let the head rest. You could even for a moment take a little spiral through the wrists. Again, maybe massaging out that third eye point between the eyebrows. We're going to start to flow back and forth through our cobra and our child's pose. So maybe reaching the hands a little bit further forward, gazing to the top of the mat, so we can look where we're going. We're going to slowly rise the hips and then melt back into cobra, maybe coming to the floor, rising back up, and then hips back to heels. Let's do 2 of those. So whatever this looks like for you, Dropping down, shining the heart forward, and then back to child's pose once more. Feeling into that fluidity, but moving more so with the breath. So people often think that Aquarius is actually a water sign because of the symbol of the jug pouring out water. It actually means more so that symbolism of kind of pouring water onto things around us, so kind of shining lights, shedding truth. Kind of a wake-up moment is Aquarius, bringing us back to reality. So with that in mind, let's start to rise back up, walking the hands in towards you. So we're going to bring the knees together here. We're going to play a little bit with our camel pose, but not necessarily coming all the way into it if you don't feel up to it today. So we're going to start by bringing our left hand behind, sweep the right arm up and over, a little pulse forward of the hips, and then rounding to bring it back. So taking this moment, or movement rather, side to side. You can lean into that back hand. You could rise a little bit higher every time. You could even use your blocks here to help you find that added bit of lift. So as I say, we're probably not coming all the way into our camel pose. We're just allowing the body to find some flow, warming into it. So if you've done a little bit of exercise before this, maybe you're there and you can kind of extend a little bit further. Maybe see if you can do maybe a little bit less than you normally would. Lovely, so let's go one more time either way. Bring it back to the left. Shining the heart to the sky, over to the right. Lovely, and then drop it back down, hips to heels. Beautiful. We're going to come back through tabletop. Let's come to find a lunge from here. So drawing right knee forward first. Land the toes, rising up through the spine. So here, remember I said earlier about the calves. Imagine that you're calling both calves towards each other. So you're creating this little bit of resistance through your body, through your own personal strength. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Let the shoulders melt down by the ears. Landing here in your modified crescent lunge. Inhale to stay. We're going to exhale, open the arms out to the side into a twist. Maybe you gaze behind you. Inhale to come up to center. Exhale, open into your twist. Inhale to rise. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, we're going to lift back up again. We're going to turn our left foot back behind us. We're going to come into a modified warrior 2 for a moment as the arms drop down. So still squeezing the calves, rolling that back shoulder to create as much space as possible. Aquarius, very, very spacey sign. Find it within the body, maybe even tilting the palms to the ceiling, little stretch through the shoulders and then point them back down. We're going to flow the top arm up and over. Tuck the back toes. Let's come into our first downward facing dog. So stepping front leg back. First downward facing dog. So maybe we have a little pedal of the legs here. Maybe even pressing the tops of the feet into the earth. And then let's bring our left knee forward. Take your time to lower the back knee. Inhale, arms to the sky, lower crescent lunge. Inhale to stay. Exhale to twist. Really nice. Inhale back up. Exhale, drop it down. Inhaling. Exhale to lower. Inhale, come up. Let's take our modified warrior 2. Turn the foot out back behind you. Let the arms rain down that lovely long line. Maybe flipping the palms to the sky for a moment. Find that space to open. And then let them sink back towards the ground. Realign the legs, maybe with a wobble. And then bring your hands to the earth. Stepping your front leg to the back. Downward facing dog. Little pedal as needed. Beautiful. From here, we're going to inhale, lift the right leg to the sky. Call the knee forward as if you're coming into your lunge once again, but we're going to step our back foot in, coming to find our pyramid pose. So once you're in this shape, we want to make it as comfortable as possible. We want to move away from any pain or discomfort. So we're going to step our foot a little bit to the side perhaps. Our front knee, of course, can be bent if that feels good. And we can use our blocks to prop us up. We could rest our hand onto our front leg, or even bring the hands into Anjali Mudra, our prayer position. Now here, I can already feel that my spine is rounding, so I'm going to roll the shoulders and start to feel into length through the spine. So bringing in that kind of proprioception, awareness of your own body in space. Nice big breath to land here, to hold. And then starting to bend into the front knee, hands come to the floor. Let's step our back leg a little bit further back, and as we did before, let's drop into a lunge. This time, shuffling your front foot forward, we're kind of letting that back leg or back thigh find that diagonal rather than being upright. So leaning a little bit over the knee. If it feels uncomfortable, maybe rolling your mat, create a little bit of extra cushion. And then let your hands come onto the thigh, maybe interlocking the fingers. We find our dragon pose here. So settling with the breath. So a really interesting way that we can tap into the Aquarius energy is Aquarius season is kind of all about the humanitarian. So giving back to the collective rather than the self. So the opposite of Aquarius is Leo, which is all self-focused. Aquarius is a little bit more the wider scope, as I say, humanitarian, collective, outer issues. So this practice today, though we might not be giving outwardly, it allows us the space to drop back into ourselves so that we can move and give from a place of love towards others once we're realigned with kind of where we're at, how we're feeling. So coming out of our dragon pose, let's bring the hands to the earth. We're going to take a half split, tuck the back toes. Hopefully we've got enough space to draw through our left hip. Flex the toes. You could walk the hands with you. Again, if you have your blocks, you could use them here. Maybe your front leg is straight or bent, doesn't matter. Your practice, your choice. So one more breath again, notice the body, notice the spine. And then let's sink those front toes. Let your hands come forward as we bend into the knee. Step it back, downward facing dog. So any little movements you want to take before we come to the other side. We're going to inhale, lift left leg. Knee comes forward, step your foot to the top of the mat. We're coming to our pyramid pose once again. So walk the back foot in, maybe a straight leg, maybe a little bend in the knee. Let your hands rest where it feels comfortable. Maybe you mimic the opposite side. Maybe it's a little bit different left to right. Follow your breath. So I've just lifted the chest a little bit more, and I find it a little bit easier to straighten the legs, so you could try that for your practice. And then take your time to bend into the knee, slide the leg back, soften it to the floor. Let's find dragon pose again. So remember that back thigh on that slight diagonal. Pressing into the front toes, hands come to the thigh, nice and strong, finding length, and tapping back into that safe space of your breath here. So though Aquarius is an air sign, I'm keeping things fairly slow and subtle today, just because during the time where the sun is in air, we may feel a little bit more naturally elevated. So we don't want to kind of push that over the edge. We want to use it there to the best of our ability, like our communication, our thinking mind. But where we can, we need to find those places to land. We don't want it to be exacerbated. So from dragon, pulling back into our half split once again, toes lift. So maybe the blocks are there. And then pressing the foot back into the earth, we're going to step through to a forward fold. So both feet meet. Let's drop the head down, maybe catch opposite elbows. Perhaps a bend in the knee, following a little sway side to side. So we're going to come to take a twist. So we're going to drop our left hand down to the earth, bend into the left knee, start to extend up through the right arm. Now your choice, you can keep your gaze to the floor, to the side of the room, or maybe looking up towards that top hand. And then on your next exhale, float the hand back down, swap to the other side, right hand down, right knee bent, reaching up. Really nice. And then slowly lower. So our feet are probably quite close together. Let's bend into the knees, sink the hips, let your arms reach back behind you, and then let's rise up into a chair pose, settling through the hips, finding length through the spine, crown towards the bottom of the spine. And then let's end our practice as we come to rise, bringing the hands down to heart center. Nice big breath here. And then maybe a little shake out at the end to let any stagnant energy go. So you're very welcome to take a rest, maybe even do that flow twice, kind of integrate it into the body. You kind of begin to lift the knees and just explore there. But I'd like to say a big thank you for joining me in this practice today. If you like this video, give it a like, maybe think about subscribing or leaving a comment, and I will see you here soon.